Okay. And so this recording will be shared with you afterwards. Okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Her name is Shawna, and she is a certified generational healing coach. Shawna is very passionate about using what she's learning to help others. And that is definitely what I am a good friend of Shawna. She is a good friend of mine. And we have done a lot of coaching things together. And I have watched her just really be so passionate about her own growth and really wanting to become the best version of herself as a human, as a mother, as a wife, in all aspects of life. And it's really inspiring to see her. And she's always such a bright light of love and cheerleading for others and a lot of passion. And it's been a joy to be with her in this kind of work. So she's also a mother of four. And so she's excited to share with us what she has discovered about how motherhood changes us through this beautiful word called matrescence. And with that, we're going to welcome up Shawna. Yay.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Kendra. Okay, sharing my screen now. Does everyone see it? Hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
Actually, one moment. I need my notes. I got to go back. Just had my Chrome tab. Oh, no. Yes. But I want my notes. I just had my notes. Yeah, stop the share. Oh, wait. Okay, this is good. One of my fears, is just coming true right now. And I'm gonna just sit in my fear for a moment.
Tobias.
Tobias, honey, where are you? Now he's with the baby. Okay, share screen, but I want like the presenter view. Ay.
I wonder if Kendra could share about next month's presentation.
Okay, yes, you do that. Yes.
Well, and we could also do like a poll, but just ask people kind of some questions about maybe being a mother or something that they've noticed as a struggle or something they you want to ask a question and I can kind of have people share. Is there a question they would go with your presentation?
Absolutely. But wait, I think I'm getting it. I see it now. Okay, 1 second. I share my screen again. And yes, 1 second. I think we're going to make it now. I think I got it. Presenter view. Now, did I get it?
Yes, it's
Everyone
there
see
for
it?
us. Yeah. You did it! Yay, Shawna!
We're like growing like all the time, y'all. I mean, seriously. Like, I'm in my fear. I'm sitting in it. Of course, it's, a little harder when everyone's like watching you, but isn't this life? Like, Okay, sitting in the fear, sitting in the fear. Okay, wait, just keep going, keep going. As long as you don't give up, like you're probably gonna make it happen. Okay, does everyone love this picture? It was hard to find some pictures. So matrescence, y'all hearing this word this year changed my life. It made me feel relief. It was a freeing word, and then it made me feel really empowered. It's amazing what can happen to a mom and actually to a woman once she's passionate and once she's activated about making some changes. And having a baby is it's a little bit of a change, like just a little psychological revolution that changes our relationship to almost everyone. um, and we don't talk about it. I don't think we talk about it enough, and today we're going to talk about it. This word was first coined in 1973 by an anthropologist, um, Donna Raphael. She was studying mothers and motherhood and trying to figure out why it was becoming very, very medicalized. Moms were on more and more antidepressants. Breastfeeding rates were dropping, and she was wondering why we have actually so much information, or we have information, but actually the experience of motherhood was getting worse. It didn't used to be like that. In the past, we had the village. We had the village that we're always talking about. We had the village. We had um, our mothers around us, our aunts, our wise women, that were telling us like how it's going to be, and we were kind of surrounded and nurtured in this bubble. And this period, especially, I'm going to focus on postpartum. This period is so extra vulnerable and extra sensitive and extra beautiful, and we need some more nurturance and support around the woman. So she was actually advocating for the woman too, not only the baby, which of course undeniably is essential, but also how can we advocate for the mom? How can we advocate for breastfeeding? How can we advocate for doulas? Doulas are like people that kind of take care of the mother. In the past, there was that village, the traditions, the rituals, but now the seems like the isolation is, was getting worse and worse, and is still the isolation is real, and the isolation really is what can lead us to loneliness and then depression and anxiety. And anyway, so then that word kind of got forgotten or dismissed, and it wasn't really picked up until more recently. And this is where kind of I found it just a few months ago, um, while I'm kind of in isolation, while I'm with a newborn baby. Oh, yeah, I should probably say, I've got 4 kids, 10, 8, 6. And then it took me like a whole 6 years to open up my heart again and to do it again. And now I have this baby, and yeah, the isolation and the loneliness was real again. And so what is it? What is matrescence? So it became so it was coined in the 1970s, but now it's becoming like people are talking about a little bit more. It's becoming well known by a clinical psychologist, Orly Athens, and she has kind of brought it back to life. And it is she's a researcher and has even like a motherhood center in New York. And yeah, she's trying to bring it back to how can we not forget motherhood and mothers. And also something super interesting, something like in our push for feminism in the past, and like I know there's different waves of feminism, but in our push for feminism, matricentric feminism, the mother kind of was forgotten or ignored, and now we're trying to bring it back to the matricentric or even like care feminism, maybe you've heard of, because like yes, we're talking about moms really, but this is also for just women in general that take on the majority of this nurturing and of giving and of loving, and that energy that we often have and we give to our families, to our partners, and to our elderly parents. And it's a lot of giving. So matrescence, what is it? It's really a significant period of change. It's a significant period of change. It's a time of becoming. And we wonder, okay, when does it really start? You pee on a stick, you get pregnant. Like it takes time, time. And they started talking about it's really like adolescence. It's really like adolescence. I guess 100 years ago, we didn't know about adolescence. We just thought, wow, kids just got mad and got crazy and like, what is happening to them? But it's this period, like 13-year-olds, they don't jump up the next day and they're adults. There's a period of so many changes. Of course, many of us are familiar with the physical changes, the hormonal changes, but there's a mental change. There's identity. There's your relationship with your spouse will change. Your relationship with your friends is going to change, especially for a certain amount of time. So many changes occur. And the postpartum period is, where I'm going to focus on the most. It's so vulnerable and sensitive and fragile and beautiful and exhausting. And no wonder it can be a time for depression, and it's a lot. And just the lack of sleep, I mean, that can be a whole other talk. Just the lack of sleep, it makes perfect sense to be down and to not feel yourself, not feel right. And this period is really a time to hit pause. It is a self-hit pause, because often for us women, if we give and give and give and give and are not filling ourselves up, and if we don't pause, then I think some of us know our bodies will make us pause. Our bodies will say, "Yep, you're going to be sick," and they'll make us pause when you don't want to. And Dr. Famous psychologist, clinician, Gabor Mate. I think many of us know him, know his work. Even he's saying that the energy that the woman puts in, it's too much. It stresses us, actually. It fatigues us. And he's talking about how oftentimes it's the woman that has, of course, all these autoimmune diseases and so many physical issues, because we really are carrying the load of this emotional healing. And it is beautiful. It is our strength. And we have to take care of ourselves better and take care of the women around us better. And okay, I'll move on. Wait, let me go back. Part of matrescence, part of the experience also is of doing some grieving of who you were. Maybe growing up, you were like your whole life, you were told you were going to be so-and-so, such and such, or you thought, oh, I really, really want to do this. And then you have kids and maybe you're different now. What? You've changed. Maybe you don't want to do it anymore. Maybe you wanted to do something in the past, but you don't want to anymore. Your beliefs change. Your life is changing, and it's okay. Also, it's okay to grieve, to take some time to grieve your freedom too, the loss of a few things. And then after we can do a little, then we can also get excited about who you want to be. So this Dr. Orly Athens, I think she's the one that came up with this concept. Words create worlds. And without words, without the language, it's isolating and it's hard. Without words, you keep quiet and you get in your head and you start to obsess and you think and think, like, what is wrong with me? Something must be wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Does anyone ever have those thoughts? Like, if you just obsess and think about it And if you're not sharing about it, then it really creates a bigger problem, and you keep thinking, what's wrong? And if a woman understands what matrescence is also before she has a baby, it would change the impact on the other side. Of course, our partners need to know this. We can share this with them. They can understand this, that your wife will be different. Sex will be different for a little while, honey. I will be different for a little while or a long while. And to be able to explain to your partner what you've been going through and why you've been struggling so much can be really liberating. And just a few months ago, that I just fell upon this word, listening to podcasts, and specifically a podcast from two Australian women, How Motherhood Changed Me. And they had a lady on there, Amy Taylor Kabaz, who now actually, not only is like a coach of mamas, but she has like a whole training for matrescence and a whole training. Anyway, it's a whole new world that I'm learning about and getting to know. But yeah, learning about this word just made me feel, okay, Shawna, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. Like, it's okay that this is hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's okay. Um, the more you just think and you're not sharing about it, then you really, really do. You like isolate yourself, and I was really doing some isolating. And we live in a society that doesn't really understand matrescence, and we don't know how to also support someone going through this identity shifting, confusing. It can be a confusing and all-consuming transition of becoming a mother, and can feel very lonely and invisible. And the load, I wanted a beautiful picture of laundry that was overfilling, but this was like a really pretty picture. I wanted a messier picture. The load of motherhood. Right now, it's, more mothers are doing paid work, but are also doing the majority of the domestic, the labor that, and there's like an invisible labor of raising a family. And that's one reason why we can be so tired. So many reasons. And oh wait, don't go back. And they were saying how it's so strange because we're the generation that does the most for our children, but we feel the guiltiest. And mom guilt, that's a whole other topic. There's so many ways I can talk about this, but yeah, much of what we call guilt actually is really our inner critic, constantly telling us where we've got it wrong or haven't done enough. And we need some skills, to learn how to make your thoughts not your reality, to challenge your thoughts. If you have a thought that comes up, challenge them. Another thing about guilt, yeah, it's actually can be your inner critic. It's also maybe guilt, your mom guilt. It's actually tension as well. Tension of having to make hard choices all the time. And I know for me, I definitely struggle with making decisions already. So even just like the little things that are just so little, but it takes up a lot of space, of like, what am I going to feed baby? What shoes is he going to wear? What pants? Just like this little stuff that, anyway, it's also can be that just the tension of having to make hard decisions or hard little choices or little choices all the time, wishing you can be in two places at once. And of course, there's only one of us and too many demands of your time. So make the best choices. You make the best choices you can, but there will always be tension and accepting. I think that's a big part of matrescence is, yes, like a little bit of grieving, and also accepting this is a whole new period and I'm changing, and it's okay. It's okay. And I think we can also accept our changes, we won't have like this resistance that comes up. Accepting the fact brings more peace than resisting it. And I really, really want you to feel good about your matrescence, about your experience. Motherhood definitely can also feel so invisible. It's the most important, we say, but also it's such an unseen role, right? Sometimes the hardest thing is not feeling seen by our partner or by the people around us, the invisible, right? So no one sees the hours maybe you spent calming a tantrum, or even like the evenings sometimes of us, the evenings that we lose searching for like health conditions that our kid might have, or learning new parenting skills. We're always trying to learn something, and that's so awesome. It is usually us moms doing it. Or the late nights, of course, all the late nights and the 3 a.m. nursings and the early mornings. But yeah, this invisible load, the mental list, that you always have running in your head. Usually we're the ones that are always setting all the appointments and the play date schedules. And there's a lot that we can do even before we get out the door. And a mom that even has to go to work, she may have already negotiated breakfast, clothes, shoes, toys, what toys the kid can bring into the car, can bring into daycare or not. Maybe she's already, brought the snacks, packed the lunch. Maybe she's done even a load of laundry for the specific piece of clothing that her daughter wants to wear the next day. Anyway, there's a long list. And for the working mom that's about to drop off, her baby or her little ones, maybe she's already sent a few emails to work, responded to the parent group on Class Dojo, or that's what we have here, Class Dojo. That's all even before she gets in the car and deals maybe with drop-off tears and the anxious worries of her little ones. And I'm just trying to make some of this invisible visible. And I think we can make some of this invisible visible through just talking about it. And of course, if you have a partner, spouse, like telling them, sharing it with them. Maybe the mom goes to work with a smile because she has to, and you manage it all in silence because you also maybe just don't even feel like you have a choice. So yeah, how can we make it more visible sometimes? Let's acknowledge the reality of negotiating even the tiniest of things with tiny humans on a daily basis. Y'all, I mean, it can be, just 9 a.m. And the emotions that we have gone through, that my children have gone through, then that I have gone through, of course, my job is to try to stay as calm as possible, right? And have them not go into all their emotions, but like be the calm in their storm and lend them that. But sometimes you look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, we've lived so many lives. It's just 9 a.m. So imagine if in adolescence, right, we never told our kids what was happening to their bodies. And if you can be supported, in this process, I think that's really, really the important part, is supporting our teenagers that are going to go through changes, letting them know, that this is all normal and natural. And I want to normalize that it all can be messy too. I mean, I am a person that I really struggle with, I want to be so pretty on the outside. And I'm not even talking about my body. I want everything to be pretty and nice, and I want to smile, and I want the positive, and I want you to just smile, and let's not talk about the negative. And motherhood It's just not like that. That's why I like that first picture so much of that coffee cup because it's not a perfect coffee cup. It might be cold when you finally get to it, and there's drips, and it's messy, and it's so beautiful, and also what a challenge and what an exhausting period as well. So, um, yeah. Um, one of my shoulds, okay, so we're going to talk about this soon. One of my shoulds or pictures that I carry around in my head is what is a good mom? A good mom, a good mom. What is a good mom? What is a good mom? A mom that's totally sacrificing everything, giving, 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 giving. Being a martyr, really, doing it all for her kids. But honestly, what does that teach your kid? Of course, I know there's, a period where, yes, there's a lot of, you do everything. But also, at what point do you start? I want to model. I want to model serving. I want to model caring for myself. I want to model saying, oh, actually, I'm going out now. I'm hanging out with my friends. Ayo, love my friend time. What do I want my daughters to do as mothers? Like, how do I want them, like for my daughters? I've got 3. I often think about this. What kind of, like, how am I making it look for them? If I'm just plowing through and not having the joyful and the woman that's also taking care of herself and going out and hanging out and celebrating my birthday. Yeah, many of us, I think, have been conditioned to be the good mother, the good girl. The good girl syndrome means to be a martyr. But I want my daughters to also see what it looks like to give and also to really receive and to have. Another point here is prioritize the feeling in your body. So your body knows, your body will tell you how it feels. It tells you something. And then what comes up, that's like the message that we can translate into, for example, a boundary. And really, yeah, that's a whole other talk. But wow, we need boundaries in life, but also especially in motherhood, so that we do not get burnt out. And again, yes, I'm talking mostly about motherhood, but we need boundaries in our relationship. We need boundaries of even caring for our elderly parents, a lot of things. So the old model, the third point here is have space in your calendar for rest. We have this old model of having a full calendar means success. Full calendar, success, more. Let's add a little bit more. More is better. Maybe we can redefine this model. Rest, maybe the space in between is the success. Maybe sit down for a moment. How about you sit down? Okay, I guess the story just came to me, so I'm supposed to share it. But like early years in my marriage, I just wondered, like, it's so weird. I'm always like the one that does this, and I'm always like the one that does that. Or it was dishes, really, or like picking up the table afterwards, like cleaning everything up. And I thought, what if he just kept sitting, Shawna? What if he just sat? Let's just see what happens. Okay, maybe your spouse won't get the picture, but actually I was so surprised. If I sit, sometimes things happen around me. I don't have to, there's no yelling, there's no, just sit, practice, and maybe someone else will do the job that you always think you're supposed to do. So yes, rest, resting in the messiness, that is hard for me, because especially, basically just lower your standards all the time, just a little bit more, because I love a clean house. I just want to clean and clean and clean and clean. But why is it that it has to be clean and then I get to sit. Then I get to sit. Maybe sometimes you just got to rest in the messiness. You got to rest in the busyness, sit and breathe before you have to get up again and make that next meal. Often we wait for the completion before we allow time to rest. Okay, I want to skip the slide, but no, that's the whole point. I mean, this was a hard, no, it doesn't look like it. Because I don't want to talk about depression, but whoa, I definitely had postpartum depression. And did you know that it's not even 6 weeks like we've been told? It's actually years now, up to 10 years. Take the pressure off yourself. Give yourself some grace to recover. My first baby was born in France. Cesarean. That was such a shock. I never even considered ever that I would have a cesarean. Like, absolutely not. Never. Wow, you have a cesarean. Wow, that kicks your butt. I go back home. This was in France. I go back to our apartment and I'm just so excited to clean or to work or to get up and to do stuff that in the first 2 days, in France, we had staples. I remember hearing that, the sound of the staples. I remember the first 2 days, I popped a staple from my surgery because I couldn't sit. And, let's really talk about why can't I slow down and be a mom? Why can't I sometimes slow down and be a mom and be okay with it? And what happens? What happened? What happened to me when I became a mom? Anger. So these are some words: mom guilt, mom rage, mom burnout, anger. This is what I tell my kids. Okay, hello, anger. Hello, anger. Thank you, my anger. Your anger, the positive of anger, it really does. It stands up for you. It gets you moving. You get to use your voice. And I think I need to more and more use my voice. I need to share. I need to share like, ooh, yep, I'm feeling angry. That's a sign. That's saying, oh, maybe reaction to injustice, reaction to unfairness, and many of us moms, the pressure, the expectations, the lack of support, the unequal load is unfair. Listen, sometimes by 8 a.m., 9 a.m., you've already faced a dozen of micro little stressors. And I think there's a whole book, The Drip Drip Effect, or Mom Rage. And it's this drip, 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 drip. And we gotta really notice those little drips before the explosion. That's the visible part, right? Is the explosion that everyone sees, but they didn't see all the times you did keep your cool, and all the times you were able to manage this with your kid. You were able to manage this. You got through this. You got through that, and then bam. So anger is a normal response to overstimulation and stress. And did you know that nothing's wrong with you if you get angry? Sleep. Let's talk about sleep. A lack of it will make you crazy. I'd wake up the first 6 months of this baby's life. I'd wake up and I'd just cry. I felt so weird and strange and not myself. And I really, really, really had a hard time with this one. This fourth kid, it was the first time I had all this depression and anxiety, so much. And I wish we talked more about the reality of being in the survival mode of those early years and the grief that comes with not having maybe many memories of your kids, or wishing you could go back and do it again differently. We need to look back on ourselves with more compassion. You can feel, and motherhood for me is also, it's so messy because you can feel different things at the same time. You can be so joyful about this baby and completely disoriented, especially those first few months. And don't just focus on bouncing back, bouncing back. That's another little phrase that is not helpful. You can't go back. There's no going back. It's about living with what you have now and focus on going forward. I think I have a picture here. Oh yeah. um yeah, this is, oh God, I really do love him. Another thing, I guess I should say, it took me time to love my babies. I didn't just like immediately love them. And I want to bring that up because I don't think, again, I'm trying to normalize that there's such an array of experiences, and you don't have to just like, oh my God, I'm in love. That was not my experience. Maybe that was yours, and that is so wonderful too. And I think we just need to talk about the different experiences. I think I have one more picture. Yeah, look at how adorable this is. But also, the point of this is to not just tell you the pretty, pretty, pretty. I want to tell you the real me, or this is how I was for some solid months. It was not just joyful, okay? It was this. I wish I could see all your faces. But I took this picture. This was like after the hardest night. I was just, yeah. I feel like there were periods of time when I was like telling people around me, I'm not well. I'm not well. I'm not well. Did you hear me? I'm really not well. I'm not well, you guys. Until I really had to really, really, really like hit rock bottom, um, butt ass naked on my floor on my bed, looking up at my husband and weeping. And I'm like, honey, something's wrong. I'm not well. Like I'm not doing well. I would cry all the time. I can definitely, yeah, laugh about this, and I want to make this light too. And here, don't worry, I'll just go back and show you some really pretty pictures. But postpartum depression is real, and I am over mostly all of it now. Um, and yeah, we live in a world with a lot of pressure, judgment, and blame on mothers. And there's dozens of ways of doing things. That's a whole other topic, of like how we parent and how we mother. Um, yeah, focus on doing motherhood your way and believe in yourself. I didn't know that so much of motherhood is actually listening to yourself and praying hard and trusting your way. And actually, yeah, perhaps the hardest skill in motherhood is really trusting that and valuing and caring for yourself, even when there's a million other seemingly important things to do. Sometimes the best thing really for our kids is really to be well, to be okay with us, to smile, to dance. Exercise helped tremendously. Dancing, singing, meeting up with friends, going out, just getting out. I heard recently, anger is the emotion of self-worth. It stands up for you. It's just a sign to check in with your needs. Okay, there's my beautiful picture. I definitely had on some rose-colored glasses. Life will be back to normal. No, I'm different. I'm new. And it's okay. It's supposed to happen. We can't go back to our old selves once we enter motherhood. And really, actually, our brains change. There's so much more research now. Our brains are changing. Basically, it's going from me to we. Now it's not just about me. It's about how can this world be safer for my kids, you know? So what are your shoulds? On your side, hopefully you have some pen and paper. Jot down a few of your shoulds. What are your shoulds? What are you putting on yourself? Did someone ask you, please do this? Please, you are responsible for this and this. Or are you just putting stuff on yourself too? Where does it stem from? So have a list of your shoulds, or also maybe you can talk about and you can write this in the chat too. What is a good mother? What does a good mother look like to you? What's a good mother should, and then contrast it with, figure out what empowers you, what's empowering you, and what doesn't serve you. Turn the should into a want. So if you have a moment, just jot down on the side of your notebook your shoulds, or what are the old inner scripts that you have in your head? Or what do you put on yourself? And in the chat, if you feel comfortable, definitely write some of your shoulds down. And how also can you turn the shoulds into the wants? Challenge your shoulds, challenge your thoughts. Not all the thoughts that we have are real and are true. I mean, so many are not, but challenge them. Okay, I'll look soon at the chat box and see if anyone wrote anything. Can we acknowledge that this is a time in our life to hit pause, a self pause before you hit go again? And I think modern day motherhood, the pressure, the expectations from our own selves, from society, the systems around us, it's unreal. No wonder why so many are struggling, feel unseen, lost. Like I said, so much is invisible. What about just saying words like, it is enough, it's enough, it's enough, I am enough, I am enough. Give yourself more credit. This is from Zoe Blaski, Mother Kind, author and podcast. She has her own podcast too, Mother Kind. Listen, give yourself more credit. You are raising kids at the same time as you are raising yourself. You're breaking cycles. Even though you are tired, you're trying to figure out who you really are while helping your little kids do the same. You're learning to love yourself and love them. So, questions to ponder during this period. I am mostly speaking about little kids, but of course, every time they grow, they change. You are changing too. You are growing with them. This is a quote from Elizabeth Stone. Making the decision to have a child, it is momentous. It is to decide forever to have your heart go walking around outside your body. It is to decide forever to have your heart go walking around outside your body. I mean, mothering teenagers, yep, that's going to be me soon. I hear it's like your heart is, outside of your body, minute by minute. They're a part of you, but now they're outside of you. They're exploring the world. They're pushing their boundaries and finding their way. And now we're like releasing. And just as you think, oh, I'm done, got that covered. Oh, they grow again. They change again. They push us again. And back in we go in the throes of this beautiful transition of matrescence. So if you are in early motherhood or mothering, or even with your elderly parents, or caring for your friends, or we are in such caring roles as women. And again, it's a strength, but who am I now? What do I want to do now in my life? What kind of a mom do I want to be? What kind of mom do I want to be? Not what was I told to be? What do I need to let go of? What stories or ambitions did I hold on to for too long? What's important to me now? These are some of the questions that you can jot down on the side. What's important to me now? What kind of a mom do you want to be? What do you need to let go of? Also, even if you don't have any children, we're in such nurturing roles. There's so many mother figure positions, especially as if you were a teacher for so many years. You're teaching, you're giving and giving. And I want to make sure that at the end, towards the end of our life, that we don't become more and more angry and more bitter or more resentful. I want to make sure that you still have so much in yourself for yourself. Our kids don't want a perfect mom. They want a happy one, a healthy one, a mom who isn't burnt out because she knows she deserves rest and she prioritizes time to feel well. I want my daughters to see me dance. I want them to see me sit. Sometimes when we're playing our family movie, I want to be the one that sits down with them and not clean up after dinner. I want to be the one, I want them to see me celebrating my birthday. I want them to see me going out with my friends. This is the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents. That's pretty strong right there. I don't know if it's the greatest burden, but this is what Carl Jung says. Just for you to consider, think about how to do your life well, how to do your mothering well, without just a push and a sacrifice and it's supposed to be hard. I mean, part of it, like, yeah, it's normal, especially during phases. It's hard, but also how to challenge those thoughts and how to add a lot more uh, joy and laughter also to this period. Okay, let me go back to some of these questions and let me think, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, talk, so for the future, how can you, talk about this topic to your friends, talk about this topic to your daughters as they get older and older, just like adolescents, and let them know, it's a time of becoming, a time of changing, and maybe things that you liked, you don't like anymore, or you're not willing to do, or maybe you don't want to go back to that career that you actually worked so hard for and you really wanted. And it's just a time of really hitting pause and allowing yourself to take some time for yourself. Us women are just amazing. We are just amazing. On this call right now, I think my grandma's still here, my grandma, my aunt, I think my mom is here. I mean, these women are givers, and it's so easy to just give all the time. And I want to make sure that we hit pause and really make sure that we're giving lovingly and joyfully and unconditionally, so I love all of you. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for taking your time. Every month we have a different topic. Every month we share something that's important, and we really do want to, help you feel a community, help you feel not alone. So thank you very much for joining us for this topic, this month's topic, but every month it's something different and new, and we definitely hope you come back and keep learning, keep growing. I will stop my share. I think I stopped my share.
Do you want to read out some of the comments?
Yes, I do. Yay.
You got some extra time.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. And the coffee is probably cold. You got this? Okay, yep, no problem. We will not have a break room. Good. Exercising daily, making daily healthy, delicious meals, keeping a clean house. Wait, someone's calling me. Sorry. Yes, should do everything. Take care of me and do what I can. There's always tomorrow. Yep. should be loving, patient, and kind. Always patient, few needs, looks good, energetic, healthy, organized. Should always have it together. Should always meet everyone else's, needs. Should always want to be around our children. Yep. I appreciate, I have some friends that um, love being with their kids and some friends that don't. And I like being in both of their presence. This is very relevant in terms of caring for, yes, for grandchildren. Should have an explosive love for my baby all the time, feel unconditional all the time. Yeah, Lisa. Oh, okay, that last slide. Okay. Take care of me. Should always have it together. Should always meet everyone. Yeah. Good. Talk about it with your daughter-in-laws. Teach your sons, yes, about your woman's experience. Oh. Okay, I'm going to read this out loud. Ooh. During my life, this is from Judah. During my life as a mom, I was very much involved with taking care of other children as well as my own. In some ways, it shared the load of everyday activities. I'm enjoying grandparenthood more because I have the chance to watch them grow without the daily responsibilities. Yes, I heard being a grandparent is, yeah, time for more joyful, fewer expectations, responsibilities. Thank you, Roseanne. Gave you insight on how to support your daughter and your daughter-in-law during their pregnancies and motherhood. Yes. Okay, I'll go back to that last slide too. Yes, of course. Yes. I know Kendra talked about this in our last class, but of course we have to honor that fighter part of us that doesn't give up. But because if you don't have that fighter part that doesn't give up, teens can just, die. There's no fight. They just give up and they freeze and there's nowhere to go. Thanks, Mom. Your children are so blessed to have a real and honest mommy. Yeah. Yeah, I was just I had to add that last picture and Charlie's like, my 6-year-old, she's like, it's not so pretty, Mom. You're not so pretty. And I'm like, I know. That's the whole point. I'm supposed to add it because it's not all pretty. That's the point. Thank you for exploration on matrescence. We need to empower each other as women. Yes. Okay, I will go back to the slide, to that last slide.
And then do you want to open it up for discussion for people to ask questions?
Yeah.
Shawna?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So if you want to just unmute, you can unmute and ask Shawna a question. And you can also continue to put questions in the chat and we have some time for discussion.
Is this the slide you wanted, Auntie? This last
Yes.
slide?
Yeah, thank you, hon. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. I will stop sharing so I can see everyone and go back.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a comment,
Yeah.
Shawna, that I realized I think I read somewhere about oldest daughters, how as an oldest daughter, we are often put in the position to care for our younger siblings. And we tend to just take that role of caretaker. And then when we become mothers, we've already been caring for people our whole lives. We've already had the burden of carrying or caring for other people, like younger people and all kinds of things. And then as a mother, it's not as um, we don't have that same sense of love or enjoyment, or just it's so precious and wonderful because we've already been doing that. We've been a mom already. And so that for me was helpful because I had a hard time feeling a lot of love for my children. I was a good caretaker and caretaked, I took care of them. But as far as like the love and feeling this joy or like, oh, I love my baby, like that was difficult for me. And so hearing that that was a, normal thing for an oldest daughter helped me feel less guilt about that. So that's something to just share for all the other oldest daughters out there.
Yep. Caretakers. Thank you, Kendra. Is that all? You read that from the Mother Hunger book?
I can't remember, probably
Okay.
one of
Probably.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. If anybody has any comment, for sure, or we definitely have time to share a little bit about, yeah, your experience or any specific questions. Or yeah, definitely personally message me if you have any other questions or podcasts. Yeah. So the podcast that I received a lot of this information from is one podcast is called Motherkind by Zoe Blasky. I'll write it down in the chat. And then another one is How Motherhood Changed Me. And then another one is called, I think it's called Mama Kind or Mama Rising by Amy Taylor Kabaz. Yeah. I'll write some stuff down in the chat for anybody that wants to. Anybody else have any questions?
I think also
Hi,
your
Mama.
presentation, hi, Annie. I think also your presentation really allows children to be more real. The parents, show their vulnerability and that we're not perfect, but we're really trying. And, some days are not as good as others. In society, even our children growing up, they have so much pressure, be an A student, go to college, get a good job, be pretty, what to wear to be pretty, or, so many things. And I think you're setting a very important um, heart for your girls, the girls and your son, to look at life and look at themselves differently. So I really applaud that, Shawna. I think it's so very important. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom. My
I
mommy.
have a quick
Hey,
question.
Dad, do you have a question? Your hand is raised, sir. Mr. John Pace from North Carolina.
Oh, no, not a question, just an honest observation. I have to say that until I saw you and Kiva become parents yourselves and go through what you went through, I didn't, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a man and the men are never fully engaged on certain levels as the mother. But I didn't understand or realize or appreciate the effort and the work and the hardship of being a parent until I saw my own children become parents. Because even as parents, it's kind of like you said, you're in the middle of this war, you're in this middle of what's happening, and until years pass, you don't even kind of look back and say, damn, did I really do that? Or wow, I spent all that time trying to take care of kids, and yeah, I guess I could have done something else with my life, but I didn't. When it's happening to you, you don't notice it. But now, as a grandfather and as a father, seeing my own children become parents, I really realize and have a profound sense of value and appreciation for not myself as being a parent, but more for the mother's role and the wife's role and the sister's role. I realize, and listening to this presentation, it really is, as mothers, you carry the majority of the burden for at least the first years. Yeah, I mean, the husband's out making money. I mean, we have a life, and we go through suffering of many different levels, but I didn't really fully appreciate and value what it means to be a parent while I was a parent. But now, as a grandparent, God has helped me understand what it means to be parents. And so I can appreciate and love my own mother more. I value and appreciate her sacrifice more, and understand it more by seeing my own daughters go through the same thing. But I didn't learn the lesson myself directly. It's like seeing it happen around you is when you really learn the lesson sometimes. Anyway, thank you. It was a wonderful presentation, Shawna.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Thank you.
We got a couple hands raised.
Yep.
Who is ready to go? Just go ahead and unmute. Sarah or Misan. I don't know which one went first, but just go ahead and unmute when you're ready and ask your question.
Okay, I can go ahead. Thank you, Shawna. Yeah, wonderful presentation. I'm glad. I really like the points about kind of like I guess being open about the messier parts of motherhood and about anger. That's something I really appreciate those 2 points from you. And what can I say? Just I wanted to know, how do we get a copy of this recording? I'd like to share it with some people that I know are like going to become mothers soon for the first time. And yeah, my question is, I like kind of related to the points that I liked in your presentation. How have you shared, especially with like the male people in your life, your husband or whoever, like more about the experience and kind of get them on board, you know? Specifically, I'd like to get my husband more on board with the educational piece that I take on as a mother, like reading books, trying to listen to podcasts, whatever, Instagram, trying to learn things about how to become a better mother. How do I get him to be on board with that and learn himself as well?
The $1 million question, Sarah. Oh my God, how am I going to answer this? Well, number one, depends what kind of relationship you have, depends how he is. You know him best, like how he's going to receive something, how he's not, when he's going to receive something, when he's not, I would say. Yeah, I mean,
Timing.
Personally, I can just speak personally. I really do have a pretty darn supportive husband. He put a candle here. He put a message on my notebook. He got me my water. Like, he's like, yeah, but it took I would just share all the stuff I'm learning to him. I mean, it was just verbal, first it's verbal, like me just sharing with him. And some things he gets and some things he still doesn't really get. And because it is also quite, yeah, it's still taking him time to process, but I mean, overall he gets it. And really me just talking about it, sharing the load, like I said, just sometimes even sitting down, and keep sitting down. Don't do what you're always doing. Have their eyes or your children's eyes sometimes open up, and hopefully they do open up. And of course, if they don't, then how to bring that up again in a super respectful, chill way. But yeah, I hope that says something. But I'm surely there's books and yeah, to talk about.
That's very helpful.
Sarah?
That is very helpful, what you shared. Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I can go. That's
Hey,
okay.
Mason.
Hi. Yeah, I really connected with your talk about matrescence. I kind of felt that captured my experience as well, because I would look back at pictures before I was a mom and be like, who is that girl? I don't even know or recognize that person anymore. And I thought you made a really good point of this culture of oh, you can just go back, back to life before baby. But it's no, we are new and growing. And I like that message of how to move forward and discover who I am now and what that future will look like as a mom and things. So I like that kind of forward looking message.
Yeah. Thank you, me son. Yep. There's forward. Nothing but forward. Well, after, there's some past too. Yes, the link of the recording will be sent out to all who registered for this webinar. Yes.
I can say something. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this week I am here with my mom, who is 92 and she's on hospice. And so I've been thinking a lot about my relationship to my mom. And I've had opportunities, to work through things. And also, I think in relationship to those of us who were parents some time ago, and now we have adult children or grandchildren, I think it's similar where we still have to like go through the letting go of things, not feeling like we have to do everything, releasing, frustration or anger or whatever from the past, that this wasn't available to us when we were young mothers. But I think also I just have to see what can I do now, because I may not be always nurturing or caring for my children or grandchildren, but there's other people in my church community and my coaching business, and like not doing more than what I that's my responsibility, looking at how to empower other people and learning how to ask for help. That's a big one for me. So thank you, Shawna.
Yeah, the asking for help. I mean, yeah, that was huge for me. Like I said, now my husband's in the room because he wants to just like he wanted to hear this whole thing. And but yeah, like my rock bottom, like it took me so long, y'all, to ask, just to ask. Like I don't know how I just really assume like like I have to be direct. You gotta be direct, like really direct. And there's all these levels. Like I thought, like even to my friends, like I thought I was saying, oh, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. But it's like, I need help. This is what you can do. This is what I need. And it's just like, yeah, asking help. It's big. Opening that mouth. And it's not a sign of weakness. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that looks like all the questions we've got for today. So, Shawna, thank you for an awesome presentation. I think everyone all really absorbed that and really appreciated a lot of the things that you shared and your stories and your authenticity and your honesty. Really, really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So now we're going to just announce that we have no webinar in December. We're going to take a break for the holidays, take some extra rest. And January 11th will be our next presentation by Karina. And Karina actually gave the presentation last month and it was fabulous. It was all about nutritional therapy and eating and our bodies, and it was really, really insightful. And she's doing a whole nother presentation on eat for energy, transform your meals for more energy, better sleep, and balanced hormones. So really what we put into our bodies makes a really big difference. And she gives us some tips on what exactly helps and doesn't help. And so join us on the 11th for that. So awesome. Thank you everyone for coming. It was so wonderful to be with you all here today, this morning. May you go out and take some time to rest. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very, very much for taking your time, being here on a Saturday. Hope you have a wonderful family day. Yeah.
Thank
Love you,
Shawna.
Shawna. Great job, honey. Great job.
Auntie.
Thank you, Shawna.